The moment my stepfather regretted everything. Intro. Have you ever been treated so badly that you felt like there was no escape, no way to fight back? That's what my life felt like for years, thanks to my stepfather. But in the end, I found a way to turn the tables. The revenge I got? Oh, it was so sweet, and he never saw it coming. Welcome to the Payback Vault. This channel is all about the wild and thrilling world of revenge. Before we get into the full story, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more stories of karma, justice, and epic revenge like this one. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for what's coming. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. Act 1, a living nightmare begins. It started when I was 12. My mom remarried, and Rick, my new stepfather, came into our lives. At first, he seemed nice, too nice. He would take us out to dinner, buy me gifts, and make jokes that made my mom laugh. But it didn't take long before that fake charm started to slip. The real Rick was nothing like the man he pretended to be. He was a monster. The first time I realized something was off was when Rick yelled at me over something small. I was watching TV after school, and he just exploded, screaming at me for being lazy and wasting time. I remember sitting there, frozen, trying to figure out what I had done wrong. My mom defended him, saying, "He's just trying to teach you responsibility." But I could see it in his eyes, the way he looked at me with pure hate. From that moment on, things got worse. Rick made it his mission to control every part of my life. If I wanted to hang out with friends, he'd ground me for no reason. If I got a bad grade, he'd humiliate me in front of my mom, calling me a failure. He found ways to break me down, bit by bit, until I started to believe him. Maybe I was worthless. Maybe I deserved this. The thing that hurt the most was how my mom acted like it was normal. She'd say, "Rick's just tough on you because he cares." But I knew better. He didn't care, he hated me. And every day, he found a new way to show it. Act 2, the constant abuse. Rick wasn't just verbally abusive, he was manipulative too. He would purposely pit me and my mom against each other. If I told her he was being cruel, he'd twist it around to make me look like the bad guy. He'd say things like, "Your kid's just lying to get attention," or "She doesn't respect you, and I'm trying to help her." And my mom? She believed him every time. I started to withdraw from everything. I stopped talking to friends. My grades dropped, and I felt completely alone. Rick made me feel like I was nothing, and there was no one in my corner. It was like living in a prison, except the walls were built out of lies and manipulation. One night, I overheard him talking to my mom about how I wasn't worth the trouble. He said I was going to end up a nobody, that I didn't deserve the future I dreamed of. That night, lying in bed, I cried myself to sleep. But something else happened too. Something in me snapped. I was done being a victim. If Rick wanted to destroy me, fine, but I was going to take him down with me. Act 3, the straw that broke me. Fast forward to when I was 18. I had spent years trying to stay out of Rick's way, keeping quiet, waiting for the moment I could finally escape. I had been saving money secretly from part-time jobs, hoping that one day I could move out and never look back. But that day still seemed so far away. Then came the final straw. I came home one day after school and found Rick in my room. He was going through my things, and I saw him holding the money I had saved. The money that was supposed to be my ticket to freedom. My heart dropped into my stomach. I asked him what he was doing, and with that smug look on his face, he said, "This is mine now. You don't deserve it. You live in my house, so it's my money." That was it. The years of verbal abuse, manipulation, and control boiled up inside me. I was done letting him win. Rick thought he had broken me, but what he didn't realize was that I had been biding my time. I had been paying attention. I knew things about him, things that could ruin him. But before I get into the revenge, if you're still watching, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories like this. Trust me, the best part is just ahead. Act 4, the plan for payback. Rick thought he was untouchable, but what he didn't know was that I had been collecting little pieces of information about him for years. You see, Rick wasn't just a controlling jerk, he was a criminal. He had been doing all sorts of shady things behind my mom's back. He had a business that wasn't exactly legal, and he had been hiding money to avoid paying taxes. Oh, and that wasn't all. Rick had been cheating on my mom for years. He had different women on the side, and he thought he was smart enough to hide it. But I knew. I had proof, text messages, photos, and even voice recordings. He thought he was so clever, but he didn't know I was watching his every move, waiting for the right time to strike. I spent weeks putting together all the evidence, photos of his shady business deals, texts from the women he was cheating with, even documents that showed he was stealing money from my mom. I knew once I had everything lined up, I could destroy him, but I wasn't going to do it in one big blow. No, I wanted to make him suffer, just like he had made me suffer for years. Act 5. Watching him fall apart. First, I sent an anonymous tip to the IRS about his illegal business dealings. I knew they'd come after him for tax fraud. It started small at first, just a few letters in the mail. But then, they got serious. They launched an investigation. Rick had no idea it was coming from me. Next, I sent my mom the evidence of his affairs. Every picture, every text, every voicemail. I remember the day she confronted him. The look on his face when he realized he had been caught, priceless. My mom kicked him out, filed for divorce, and refused to speak to him again. But the best part? His business partners turned on him when they found out about the IRS investigation. They cut him loose, and Rick ended up facing serious charges for fraud and embezzlement. The day they came to arrest him, I was home. I watched as they put him in handcuffs and dragged him out the door. He looked at me, his eyes filled with rage, but also with something else, fear. For the first time, Rick wasn't the one in control. He knew I had beaten him. Act 6. The aftermath. Rick went to prison for a long time. He lost everything, his money, his reputation, his family. My mom moved on and started a new life, and so did I. The money he took from me, it didn't even matter anymore. What I got in return was far more satisfying, the knowledge that I had finally taken back control. Some people say revenge isn't worth it, but when you've been hurt as badly as I was, there's nothing like the feeling of watching someone get what they deserve. Rick spent years making me feel powerless, but in the end, I was the one who brought him down. So, what do you think? Was the revenge worth it? Let me know in the comments below, and if you think karma was served, share this video with someone who needs to hear this story. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories of revenge, justice, and payback. You won't want to miss the next one. Thanks for watching.